Today, we're really getting into the story of Jack Grealish. And it's less about just the football stats, more about the contradiction, this incredible talent, but also this very public tendency towards, well, self-sabotage.
It really is a compelling story.
Yeah.
And the source material we've looked at, it gives you this rare glimpse into like the intersection of sporting genius and personality.
Yeah.
We're looking at a career that's just defined by these extremes. You've got the player who became the most expensive English footballer ever.
Right.
And then you also have the player whose recent story is sort of tragically summed up by that one question.
Yeah.
How did a 72-hour party basically stall his career right at the very top?
And we almost have to start with that statistic, the one that just seems to defy logic. It really sets the scene for everything else.
The 2016 season stat.
Exactly. Before he hit the record transfer fee, he set a record for, well, failure.
Yeah, it's the ultimate Grealish contradiction, isn't it? He's only 20 years old. He makes 16 Premier League appearances for Villa that season. Yeah. And those 16 appearances end in 16 defeats.
16 defeats. No wins, no draws.
Not one. It's literally the worst individual record in Premier League history for anyone who played more than, 5 games.
Wow. 16 straight losses. How do you even process that as a player? That alone could just crush someone's career.
Well, it definitely speaks to the kind of turbulence he faced early on, but it also highlights, the absolute foundation of his career.
Yeah.
His identity was just completely wrapped up in Aston Villa.
Okay, yeah. Let's unpack that Villa DNA. Because this wasn't just like a local kid joining the club. It feels much deeper.
Oh, it is, literally.
Wow.
His family roots there go way, way back. His great-great-grandfather
Right, I read that.
won the FA Cup with Villa in 1905.
Incredible.
And Jack himself joined the academy at 6 years old. He basically is Aston Villa.
And you can see from the sources, the talent was obvious right away. Managers, even when he was 15, were calling him an old-fashioned player.
Yeah, comparing him to legends known for both genius and drama. Maradona, Gascoigne.
That kind of flair. One manager even mentioned Michael Laudrup, I saw. A very unique style in today's game.
Exactly. And that kind of early recognition, it meant high demand. Even as a young teenager, you had this international tug-of-war going on.
Ah, the Ireland versus England thing.
Mm-hmm. He'd played for Ireland since he was 14, but England were really pushing hard to get him to switch. They knew he was something special.
And his reputation just blew up fast. At 16, he's already on the Premier League bench for Villa. There's that anecdote, too.
Rio Ferdinand one.
Yeah. He gets invited to Ferdinand's restaurant, and then, boom, he's called up to the first team. It shows how highly people rated his potential, even then.
But, true to form, that immediate high was followed by a bit of a reality check. He had a falling out with the manager, Paul Lambert.
Right.
And he gets sent out on loan to Notts County.
Oof. Notts County were, 20th in the third tier?
Yeah, pretty much bottom of the barrel.
On paper, that looks like a disaster for a supposed prodigy.
You'd think so. Maybe he was meant to be a wake-up call. But instead, he just proved how good he was. He became their absolute star.
The local papers loved him, didn't they? Calling his dribbling almost supernatural.
Yeah, and he scored the goal of the month. And then there's that classic Grealish moment gets booked for running into the stands to hug his dad after scoring.
Huh. Captures the drama perfectly.
It really does. That short spell just confirmed, this guy can lift any team he plays for.
And then he comes back to Villa and delivers that really powerful personal moment in the 2015 FA Cup run.
Yeah, this is so important for understanding him. That semi-final against Liverpool. The day itself had this really tragic significance for his family.
Because of his younger brother.
Exactly. Years before, on an FA Cup semi-final day, his dad got the news that Jack's baby brother had passed away. So for Grealish to then create both goals in that semi-final win on that anniversary, it was huge. Making it to the final meant everything. It's hard to really imagine the emotional peak of that FA Cup run, but it seems like with Grealish, that kind of intensity always needs, an opposite reaction.
Ah, here we go. The pattern emerges.
Yep. Straight after that final, bang. He's caught using nitrous oxide, hippie crack, as the tabloids called it.
Gets a warning from the club.
But then, just a few months later, he's caught again, partying on the same night Villa got hammered 4-0.
And that leads to the punishment, and then that dreadful 16-defeat season before they got relegated.
It's just such a clear example, isn't it? The club knows they have this amazing talent, but they're struggling like mad to handle the off-pitch stuff. The volatility.
And then comes the absolute lowest point, something that really could have ended it all, the near-fatal injury.
The freak accident, preseason friendly, collides with Tom Cleverley. Right. And it was incredibly close.
The details are chilling. Split his kidney in 2 places.
2 places.
Yeah.
Internal bleeding for 5 hours. They prepped him for emergency surgery. The doctors literally told him he could die.
Wow. That's not just an injury that sidelines you. That fundamentally changes your perspective on everything.
Absolutely. It forced him to confront his own mortality. He was out for 3 months, and Grealish himself said it gave him a greater sense of purpose.
So he comes back with this laser focus, get Villa back up. He even turned down interest from Spurs, right?
Yeah, rejected Tottenham, just wanted to restore Villa. But of course, the club itself was still in chaos. Which brings us to the cabbage.
Yes, the cabbage incident. Peak football absurdity.
Right. The club's just gone through this messy takeover. Fans are furious with the manager, Steve Bruce, and someone literally throws a cabbage at his head shortly before he gets sacked.
They couldn't make it up. But then the new manager, Dean Smith, he does something bold.
A massive gamble, really. He looks at Grealish, this guy who's just survived near-death relegation, all the controversy, and makes him captain.
And it worked. It completely unlocked something. Grealish said, "With the armband on, I felt unstoppable."
And the results showed it. He led them on that unbelievable run, 10 wins in a row.
10 straight wins from 14th place.
Dragged them from 14th right into the promotion playoffs. Incredible turnaround.
And the defining moment of that run has to be the derby against Birmingham City.
Oh, definitely. Gets punched from behind by a pitch invader.
Which is just insane.
Totally insane. But he gets up, shakes it off, and then scores the only goal of the game.
What does that say about him? He takes that chaos, that attack, and just channels it.
He often seems at his best when things are wildest. You know, that pressure, that drama. And yeah, he scored the goal, secured promotion against Derby later. Villa were back.
So, back in the Premier League, Grealish really hits that world-class level now. But predictably, the chaos, it doesn't just stop.
Not at all. The next season, he's basically dragging Villa single-handedly away from relegation again and again.
Well, at the same time, we've got the COVID pandemic chaos happening globally.
And personally for him, too. Even while he's being named Villa's player of the season, he's caught breaking lockdown rules, gets his driving license taken away for reckless driving.
It's him, isn't it? Undeniable brilliance on the pitch, completely undermined by self-inflicted problems off it.
But the source material really emphasizes just how crucial he was on the pitch. That final match of the season.
Scores the goal to get the point they needed to stay up.
Exactly. Save them. And that same season, he sets that bizarre-sounding record. Most fouls won by any Premier League player. Ever.
Which sounds odd, but it's actually a huge indicator of talent, right?
Oh, massively instructive. It just means defenders literally could not handle him one-on-one. Their only option was to foul him to stop him progressing up the pitch. He was genuinely unplayable at times.
So by the 2020-2021 season, the numbers are just undeniable. Properly world-class stats.
Including that famous 7-2 demolition of Liverpool.
Ouch. Liverpool's heaviest defeat in 57 years. And Grealish had, what, 4 goal contributions?
4, yeah. 2 goals, 2 assists. His teammate, Emi Martinez, called him the right-footed Messi. That's how good he was.
And that peak inevitably leads to the big one, the move to Manchester City. The 100 million question.
7th most expensive player in history at the time. Takes Aguero's number 10 shirt. Huge pressure.
But that shift, going from being the undisputed star at Villa to, just one part of the City machine, it seemed to cause immediate issues, self-doubt.
Yeah, and we see the pattern again, don't we?
Yeah.
Huge high, the massive transfer fee, followed by a low.
Gets dropped with Phil Foden after they were seen leaving a nightclub on a Tuesday.
Right. And then Grealish himself, at City's title party that season, actually admits it out loud. He says something like, "They paid $100 million for me, but what have I actually contributed?"
Which brings us to that really interesting statistical defense of his early City performances. The expected assists thing, this is gold for anyone learning about modern football analysis.
Absolutely crucial, yeah. So expected assists, or XA, basically, it measures how likely a pass is to become an assist.
Based on the quality of the chance created.
Exactly. Where the pass was made from, where the shot was taken from, the type of pass. It strips away whether the teammate actually scored or missed. It just measures the quality of the chance creation.
Okay, so pure creative quality. How did Grealish rank?
Right, this is a kicker. He ranked 5th in the entire Premier League for expected assists.
Yes, behind who?
Behind only De Bruyne, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Salah, and Ødegaard. Elite company. The quality of his service was world-class.
Okay, so if his expected assists, the quality, ranked 5th, Where did his actual assists rank?
He ranks 69th.
69th. That's an unbelievable difference.
An astronomical gap.
Yeah.
It basically proves statistically that he was creating elite chances, but his teammates just weren't finishing them. His actual assist tally was lower than his own center backs.
So the narrative that he was struggling, it was more like he was incredibly unlucky. The stats showed the quality was there, it just wasn't converting.
Precisely. And the argument was that kind of anomaly, it was bound to start performing. The finishes would eventually come.
And they did, didn't they, after the World Cup break?
Yeah, he really settled in. Became a regular starter, started getting key assists against Leeds, Chelsea, scored in the Manchester derby.
Played a big part in derailing Arsenal's title challenge that season, too.
Huge part. And in the Champions League, he broke the record for the most chances created by an English player in a single campaign. He was finding his groove.
Which leads us perfectly to the absolute peak, the career highlight, and almost immediately, the legendary crush, the treble.
He was absolutely instrumental in that Champions League win. City get the treble, beating Inter Milan in the final. Grealish reaches the pinnacle of club football.
And if he worked hard to win it, the story suggests he partied even harder afterwards. Let's talk about the infamous 72-hour celebration.
Oh, it instantly became football folklore. The sources talk about him partying nonstop for 72 hours. No sleep.
Seen stumbling at the airport, the rumors about needing a wheelchair.
Yeah, those were unverified, but painted a picture. Still in his full City kit the next morning, it was legendary excess.
But the timing, given what happened next, it's pretty stark, isn't it? That celebration immediately precedes a significant physical breakdown.
Exactly. Start of the next season, he goes down with what's described as a bad leg, which sounds minor, but the source gives this alarming detail.
Hematoma.
Yeah. The doctor described it as a severe hematoma, a deep bruise. Said a bad one is normally about 6 centimeters. Grealish's was 20 centimeters.
20. The worst the doctor had ever seen.
The worst they'd ever seen. And here's the crucial link the source makes.
The alcohol connection.
The expert analysis strongly suggests that regular, heavy alcohol consumption is high on the list of things that can cause or worsen severe, lingering hematomas or dead legs like the one he had. That 72-hour binge likely compromised his fitness at the elite level.
And then later that season, it happens again, another injury, out for 41 days.
And this is when even Pep Guardiola, who'd always backed Grealish's character, finally seemed to lose patience. He basically said the injuries only happen when a player is not fit at all.
The final blow really was being left out of the England squad for the Euros, a massive hit to his confidence.
Huge. And without that boost, he just seemed to collapse again. What a full year, 365 days, without scoring a single goal.
And Guardiola's assessment was pretty brutal, wasn't it?
Incredibly honest. He said, basically, do I want the treble-winning Jack back?
Yeah.
Yes. But I have to be honest, it ain't happening.
So the story of Grealish, it's just this profound contrast, isn't it? You've got the player with almost supernatural ability, survived near death, dragged his boyhood club back up. But those self-destructive moments, that pattern, it seems to have ultimately stalled him right at the very peak, despite all that talent.
I think the lesson, maybe, is that in today's elite sport, raw talent, and even resilience, sometimes it's just not enough against the demands of absolute hyper-optimized fitness, disciplined living.
Especially with that under million price tag pressure.
Exactly. The chaos he seemed to thrive on earlier in his career perhaps became his biggest enemy at the very top level.
But we have seen this his whole career, haven't we? This pattern. Massive collapse, followed by a huge comeback. After the kidney injury, after relegation, even after that initial struggle at City, he always seems to find that focus when his back's against the wall.
He does. He finds that purpose.
So we'll leave you, the listener, with this thought. There are rumors now about a potential move to Everton. That would be another setback, another step down, arguably. Given his history, this cycle of drama and genius, how much longer can he sustain it in modern football? Does Jack Grealish have one more monumental comeback left in him?
Something to definitely think about. We'll see what happens next.